Hi everyone, this is Michael from Sea God again, and we are back on the boat. So we have some updates today as to what is happening. So unfortunately we've had to cut the sailing part of our trip a bit short, and we'll go over exactly why in a minute. And we all have future plans as well though. We are going to split. Mateo's not here, but I'm going off with Mateo, as I mentioned, for the cycling trip. And they're gonna have to figure out how the hell to get back to the original starting point. And yeah, so that's kind of the start of it. I want to start it off with, well, what are the reasons the trip has ended, as in, you know, we're not going all the way to France. And I think I'll start you off with giving us the initial reasons, and then we can talk about it further.
Yeah, sure. So as we were going, we had a plan, and the idea was with the plan that we'd be able to get there and get back and have enough of a crew. I've been searching for a crew for about 3 weeks, other than us, more for the way back actually than the way there. I have kind of no issues of all four of us going the way there, but at the moment I don't have that. Then we also have a technical problem with the actual depth sounder. Which is kind of the most important. Everything else we have covered. But after our experience on Kilmore Quay and my lessons, going into unknown ports without that fully functional, even though last night we were there at the
it
data
works
line.
better than it used to work.
Well, the instruments are all sort of on and working, with the data feed is not coming through to the depth sounder, so we got to figure out why that's not happening. So going into ports that I already know is fine, but going into unknown ports in England or France is taking a bit more of a risk to do that. So there's a lot of factors to consider. And then, you know, we could spend a few days here working on it, figuring it out. But then you guys also want to keep going with your trip. So it's kind of a combination of both of those things. We came to a decision yesterday. We came up with an alternative because of crew. I said, oh, well, we could go to Milford Haven as 4 and then we could come back. But then squashing that in then, and you guys going off on the ferry. I left that choice to you guys, actually.
But then it also has to do with, you know, potentially the weather was going to be poor, as you've noticed today. So we don't know what might happen in that case. And given that the original plan was going off on the cycling trip, we thought, you know, we will also keep it simpler rather than trying to add complexity, because the depth sounder still wasn't working and all that. So it kind of makes it simpler in that regard.
Sure. And like the weather, I didn't mention it because that was always a big factor. We have easterlies now because there's a nice high pressure going over, and that is already beginning to change. And easters are going to become very strong, and the weather is going to become more unpredictable in about 2 days' time. So.
And you were talking to some fishermen and everything, and it seems to actually already be picking up.
The changes are happening already. So we might even stay here. I see that the next time we'll get southerly winds, which will help us go back up to Dunleary, are around the 9th or 10th of June. And what we might do in the meantime is go to Dunmore East or somewhere close by, or Youghal or whatever else. But so we kind of made the decision. You guys want to do the cycling. With sailing, you're always going to have things at risk you have to manage. So you guys are going to,
we're going to go ahead. So I'll go more in depth in this tomorrow probably, but in short, tomorrow evening at 9 o'clock we're taking the ferry to France, to Cherbourg, and then I have a starting plan that is, I think it's 11 or 12 legs that should get us down to the south, approximately 100 kilometers a day. So, you know, should be relatively okay if we start in the morning. Near Marseille, to Toulon, to get then the ferry down to Sardinia. And yeah, that should be really fun. We'll update you more as we know the legs better, also because, you know, with these things, as much as with sailing, you have the can you go in, can you go out, we also have the flexibility of finding campsites and stuff like that.
Where you might sleep under a tree or something.
Yeah, and also how much energy we might have on any given day. So rest days have to be taken into consideration. And we have an approximately, I think it's approximately a 2-week window to do this trip. But we have approximately 11 days worth of cycling. So it gives us a bit of leeway to make sure we can do it comfortably enough, right? Anyway, I'll get more into that. I think if you want to I know Mateo's not here, but we can maybe talk about it with him a bit more tomorrow. But But if you want to, Liam, actually talk about what you thought of the trip of coming down to the south of Ireland. Did you enjoy yourself?
I thought it was pretty fun, something I hadn't done before.
Yeah.
The days were pretty good. The wind was good, and the water was calm. So it was just fun.
We all got over our seasickness, as you saw on the first day. We were all pretty terrible, and on the second day we felt a lot better. And so then what are you guys going to do? Just kind of.
Well, probably we'll wait here until the 10th or the 9th and then start heading up to Dún Laoghaire again.
Or we might, like, there are a few lovely places. This is the Copper Coast, and actually most of the traffic is Milford Haven towards here to actually cruise along the Copper Coast.
We were going the wrong direction.
Yeah, but that direction was because of your cycling trip, but actually there's sort of, you've got Kinsale, you've got Youghal, you've got Waterford, you've got Dunmorrice, you've got Cape Clear, Cork, loads of places along the coast here. Which, since we're close to land or whatever, Liam or myself could if we chose to do it. And then eventually on the 9th or 10th, as Liam was saying, the winds would actually suit us then approximately, you know what I mean? These are just long-term forecasts, and then we could head back up to Dún Laoghaire before. We'll probably go and meet you guys, maybe by air or some other method,
down when
next
we get
month
to
or something.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
It should be good. More updates on exactly how we're getting down to where we want to get to in the future. I don't know, honestly, I think that's what we wanted to talk about today, unless there's anything else you wanted to go over.
No, I would just add that, like, sailing is probably a little less predictable than land trips because the weather, everything on your boat, etc., the crew are all critical to making certain trips.
Of course, yeah. And it was a first longer trip of this time.
It was first longer trip as a family, and me as a skipper and you guys as crew.
It's a lot of learning.
Yeah, maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line, it's not about time but experience. I might be in a position to say I'm okay to do it anyway, but I'm also at a stage in my learning of being a skipper and want to take reasonable decisions. So
and there'll always be bigger and greater adventures to come anyway.
Knowing us for sure is on the way.
There's no issues around what we're going to be doing in the future. So we'll see what the next attempt will be, and not all attempts go all the way, but that's where you learn the most, I think, as well. So.
And then you go, well, what could we get better for the next time?
Yeah. Like this time we got a load of safety equipment. Well, you got a load of safety equipment.
We packed up for loads of stuff. Yeah.
The setting a deadline of when we're going as well, I think, really kind of just sped up the improvement of a lot of things.
And I have
to
say I'll thank Michael for that, because he is the stimulus in this. He was going for the cycle anyway, and I then kind of said, oh, well, we could try and bring you to France on the boat. And, we did a part of it. We all got to sail on the Irish Sea and the ocean.
We got the Atlantic Ocean, right, Liam? Yeah.
And I think that was maybe for me the most memorable point was we turned around Cairnsore Point at the southeast, and we were coming towards Kilmore Quay. And the three of you guys got up on the high side, stuck your feet out, and we were going along at a nice heel. We were all happy, and for me that was almost a pinnacle. Nobody was sick, everyone was enjoying themselves. We were motoring along, we were beside
there was a fair amount of wind.
And we saw a boat ahead of us that was actually one of the boats in Arklow with us. And we could see how fast our boat was, because we just sort of went ahead of them and kept going. And the power of this boat is actually quite strong, because because it's a
we were
boat.
Catching up to them, and then we bet them. And great. We may be a little competitive sometimes.
That could be a failing.
But then they eventually caught up to us, because our little issues in the just coming into the port, they actually eventually caught up to us.
Well, no, actually, I'd like to add on that is both days we had a problem with our head sail and getting it back in, furling it back in. And I'll give credit to Liam. He actually solved the problem yesterday of that. What happened was, I talked with Liam about doing the furling, and he said he would unravel what was in there. And then what he noticed, well, you say what you noticed, Liam.
Well, just the ropes were kind of tied around each other, so I thought, why not just take them out? Just maybe leave one loop around.
So there was way too much rope. Right?
Yeah, there was way too much. There were like 6 or 7 extra loops that didn't need to be there.
And then when we tried pulling it in, it was wrapped too thickly. So basically, Liam solved the problem that we had 2 days in a row. Yeah. So now it's just one loop, and then you'll pull it in. There'll be loads of space. So
very good. very good.
You know, so a lot of learning and
Yeah, well, that's what you want with these things, right?
yeah, and curious to hear what you're going to learn on your cycle trip, and us if we're going to travel us too.
Yeah. Maybe we'll, if you send me little videos, we can post some of your updates if you'd like.
Yeah.
As you
that'd be
do.
good.
Your well, I assume initially 2 legs back. Then let us know
Yeah.
what else might happen around the trip.
Yeah, we might do something else, but we'll probably
if
do
you wanna-
basically the reverse of what we just did. You know?
Yeah, but if you want to send some updates, see, well, you know, this time we got into Arklow without spinning around in circles.
Or we might find a new port on the way back. Who knows? You know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm very happy I did it with all of you. It would have been nice to have Matteo here, but I think he's chilling on the beach somewhere, so I doubt he's jealous of us.
I would just say for everyone who's watching, Kilmore Quay is a beautiful beach. Last night we had a fantastic meal actually at Mary Barry's.
Yeah. And Matteo said he had the best cod he'd had in his life. He saw heaven or
He saw
something.
cod.
He saw cod, exactly.
And your steak looked pretty well as well.
Yeah,
pretty
the
good.
steak was really, really good. Yeah, absolutely. The food was really good there, I have to say.
So a lovely place to visit.
Yeah, perfect. Well then, thank you guys very much for the trip.
Thanks, Michael, and good luck with your cycling.
Thank you. I'm gonna need it.
Good luck with your brother.
Yeah. Oh, that I need more luck. All right. Well, thank you. I'll see you next time.